Hi, and welcome to another poignant episode of Comedy on the Edge. Now, there is no David Letterman-esque irony in the phrase episode, or for that matter, poignant. It really is very, very poignant. Poignant. Yes, it has elements of other things as well. I can't think of any right now. Oh my God, is the camera on? I forgot everything I was going to say. Which means that it's a good time to bring on our guest, Mr. Timothy Rat-Eye Roberts. I know he didn't want his real name used, but hey, you got to document this stuff. Pointy-headed aliens in the year 23 jillion might be watching this someday on crackly kinescopes and going, Tim Roberts. See, they wouldn't be able to do that.
And I want to be known by everybody I possibly can.
Yeah, well, you know, Gary Trudeau once said that people who avoid publicity are treated as though they are snobs. I am paraphrasing him. Of course, he was never one to avoid publicity himself. Except, you know, he did drop out of the comic strip racket for a few years, just when the Reagan thing got going. Just when we needed him the most. And he was directly responsible for Burke Breathitt's Bloom County and Outland, for which he can never be forgiven. Because I can't stand Outland. The cute, pudgy little penguin, the cockroach jokes, the politically correct humor, the so-called deep but actually intrinsically shallow political commentary, which passes for great wit among undergraduates. I mean, just the whole thing. It's irritating, it's irksome, it's bothersome, it's boring, and yet it's still 90% better than 90% of all comic strips around. So, I mean, that makes it even worse in a way. Can you imagine if the only decent comic strip was Shoe, you know, or Pluggers? Pluggers, you know. It's like things for fat cat executives to put on their refrigerator. Like,
Let it be known that the opinions expressed are solely those of
Francis DiMenno, and not those of Mr. Tim Roberts or anybody else who might happen to wander in.
who loves Bloom County with undying devotion.
Oh, yeah. See,
Okay, maybe I just said that to create a little controversy.
Well, that's right, because conflict, of course, is the essence of drama.
That's right. Conflict and violence.
Whoa, violence and slapstick. Well, come on up, Timothy Roberts. And we were, earlier when we were in the green room, which is actually our environmental sanctuary and not the theatrical equivalent of a waiting room, we were discussing, notice how I stand on this dais. Maybe you should stand on the dais.
No, I think you should have, you're the authority, you're the leader of this show.
The authority, the leader. Okay, now I'm going to give the ASPCA motto, which is big dog, bow wow wow, we'll fight evil, now. So anyway, no, I
couldn't agree more.
I can't be the alpha dog all the time. It's just too much of a burden. Now the time has come, set it on my bum. After all I tried for 6 years, seems like 60. Anyway, Tim Roberts, right.
Hosanna.
Does Messiah, is that cognate with master? I wonder. It's like slaves taught to say, Messiah. Don't beat me, Messiah. Jesus said slave master. But I'm getting off the track.
Well, I don't know. It's an interesting tangent, though.
Too interesting, in fact.
Well, it's interesting to try to inject a little S&M into the whole Jesus experience.
In fact, isn't Jesus sort of, isn't Christianity kind of sadomasochistic in its essence? I mean,
my experience has always been somewhere along those lines.
Yes, it's Comedy on the Edge, the show that's too interesting to be on cable television. Well, but then again, you know, what's Buddhism after all, and Taoism? I mean, Taoism is just apathy, and Buddhism is you rub the Buddha's belly and you get 10,000 gold coins the next day, that kind of thing, you know, positive thinking.
I have a Buddha shrine between my speakers and my home entertainment system, and I have yet to see a single coin come my way out of my stereo or anywhere thereabouts or anywhere into my life And it's made me seriously question my faith, being Buddhist.
Well, J. Robert Nash in his book Zanies was talking about Aleister Crowley and how Aleister Crowley claimed that his sex magic made him rich. He said when he was having sexual intercourse, he focused on a room full of 10,000 gold coins, and the very next day, one of his acolytes gave him a gigantic donation. That Aleister Crowley, I'll tell you.
That's quite an image to focus on. I mean, I've heard people use baseball imagery. I've heard people use food, but coins. Well, I don't know. Sex, money. It all kind of goes together, doesn't it?
Today's question for our audience is: what do you think about when you're having sex? However, since there's nobody here, this embarrassing question will be avoided.
Well, maybe I can become the audience for a moment. I'll go back down here.
All right. Keep the microphone. Yeah, that's good. Okay, Mr. Roberts, what do you think about when you're having sex?
Generally, I think about linoleum. I think that, you know, there's certain qualities to certain types of linoleum that it just has a resonance to me, a real a connection with the eternal. Especially linoleum that kind of has a 60s feel to it. It brings in the whole nostalgia thing, and my first sexual experiences, climbing a rope swing, head first buried in a pile of dirt at a construction site, etc., etc.
Well, that's funny because that reminds me of a charming anecdote. It seems as though in the capital of Nairobi, the Nairobi Daily paper couldn't get a picture of the moon landing, and so they shot a gigantic close-up of a biscuit and then drew a little map on it and said that that was in fact the moon landing. And everybody marveled, and the publisher said, "We've scooped every paper in the world." So I don't know why that reminds me of that, but it does.
Well, I don't know, but I think we're on a good path for neural synapse in a kind of a schizophrenic creative way. So I think we just should continue on this free-form path.
Schizophrenia? I'm of two minds about that. It takes two to know one.
Did you just say that, or did I say that?
It takes two to play that game, so let me proceed.
Okay. You have the floor.
Oh, you get back up here now.
I think I'm going to assume the position of authority now.
All right. So, we were talking about the Roger Daltrey's solo album, imaginatively titled Daltrey, and
Quite creative.
And you know, he was taking his shtick from his traditional quadrophenia thing, and he had a solo album written entirely not by Pete Townsend, as you might expect, but by what would be the point of that? Wouldn't that just be another Who album? Anyway, no, it was written by Leo Sayer and David Courtney. Leo Sayer's, I guess, still kicking around the oldies circuit, but David Courtney has dropped bottom out of sight. One solo album, that was it. His solo album was really bad, by the way. It was one of the first records I ever reviewed as a record reviewer. Boy, did it stink.
Leo Sayer?
No, David Courtney's solo album. Well, Leo Sayer, you know, all these self-pitying songs like, "Oh, I'm a one-man band, nobody cares or understands, is there anybody out there who can lend a hand? Do my man." Sort of a poor man's Randy Newman, a very, 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 very poor man's Randy Newman.
Well, back when I was a very, very, very poor in spirit young boy, I sat listening to the FM AOR radio of the early to mid-70s, and I completely related that song. In fact, I still sing it to this day, over and over again.
Now, was that the one that also had, "I was just sitting"? Yeah, there was a whole bunch of other songs on there too, like "The Show Must Go On," I think was on that.
I don't know if I know that one.
Well, Leo later wrote, "Hi, how you doing? How good to see you. It's so
evening.
nice to be with you. I love all the things you say and do." And now, the showstopper. Are you from Dixie? Hooray for Dixie! Are you from Tennessee or Alabama or Carolina or anywhere beneath that me some Dixon line? I actually heard that song from the Holy Modal Rounders when they went on tour for the last time. Well, that's a great song to hear, you know. And I got this record of 30 songs from the Central Square Public Library. It had all this stuff like, "Is it true what they say about Dixie?
Does the sun really shine all the time? Do those sweet magnolias blossom round every neighbor's door? Do Smoke City possum till they can't eat no more?
You know, it's like, they don't write songs like that anymore. Nobody's that enthusiastic about anything anymore to be able to, instead it's sort of like, oh, I'm dying, oh, my house arrived, Mazel Tov, life's a party, you know, crap like that.
Yes, it's the slacker mentality. It's the let's kind of like be intensely resigned.
Intensely resigned. That's an oxymoron. Well,
Oxidated moron?
Something like that. No, actually it means sharp, blunt in Greek. Oxymoros, sharp, blunt. Not that I'm a Greek scholar, although I don't bend over when I pick up the stuff in the shower. You know,
Let's get back to police and how to deal with
wait a minute.
different cultures.
St. Louis, right?
St. Chewy misery.
I had something to be like self-pitying about because I lived in Pittsburgh. Then you topped that by saying, I don't know if you topped it, but you said you came from St. Louis.
I would say at least I equal that level of pitifulness.
Well, what does Pittsburgh has? Pittsburgh has
Lots of hills.
Deserted steel mills, St. Louis, botanical gardens. I mean, you know, Pittsburgh has a drug-infested bus station in downtown. What does St. Louis have? Drug-infested train station downtown.
But Pittsburgh has hills, rolling hills, not rolling, extremely steep hills.
Sort of like the hills of certain parts of Italy.
St. Louis has the mightily polluted Mississippi.
Yes, well, Mark Twain said if you pick up some Mississippi water and drink it, then it'll keep you going for a long time because that mud sort of settles in you, and after they bury you, the flowers will grow out of your grave, much more than for a man who doesn't drink Mississippi water.
Flowers will grow out of you even before you die. I mean, people wear flowers in their hair metaphorically in St. Louis. It is the most polite city that you could ever know. Cops are even polite. Speaking of which.
Yes, I had a policeman stop me in St. Louis, and I was driving without a license, and you know, actually two stopped me. I didn't tell you this. Two of them stopped me. One was this gruff old man. I went the wrong way down a one-way street at midnight. And, you know, I gave him the sob story. I said, you know, I said, I got long fingers and big lips. Get away from me. I got long fingers and big lips.
It was the alien approach.
Right. And what did he say? And he said, don't come near me. And I said, no, my friend told me this joke. But anyway, no, I said, I'm sorry. I'm driving without a license. I guess you're gonna have to arrest me now. And he looked at my ID, looked at me, looked at the ID, looked at me, and said, get out of here! Don't let me see you around here!
That's embellishment. I like the fact that
the first guy said this.
Oh, you're still on the first.
The second guy, however, you know, he was like, he practically curtsied when you know, I said the same deal, and I was lost, and I pulled into some deserted supermarket parking lot, and I wanted to take a piss real fast. I was going to get out of the car, but then I saw this cop car, so you know, he pulled up to me, he said, you know, license and registration? Not, are you lost, sir? Can I help you? Now, if he was really polite, that's what he would have said. But
do you really expect that?
No,
from
of course
a cop,
not.
Even if he's from St. Louis?
Even if he's from St. Louis. No, you know, I gave him the
In this day and age?
I gave him the ID, and he said, oh, well, I guess you didn't have much time to learn how to drive then, did you? Harvard.
Clever at least. You got to give a cop the E for effort for a sense of humor.
Wait, you hear what the guy in Georgia said? Boy, this guy was a real cracker barrel philosopher, but the guy in St. Louis, his name was Officer Pike. Thank you, Officer Pike, wherever you are. I got my license now, everything's okay. So he dropped me off at a Sambo's. Isn't that great?
That, I think, is the highlight of the story, a Sambo's.
Yeah, a Sambo's, which is now called No Place Like Sam's. And he had me call the girl whose car it was, and I pretended to. I gave the acting performance of my life. Hello? Is Jenny there? Yeah. Jenny, I'm real sorry, but you're going to have to come and get me.
In the meantime, the telephone was going, I'm sorry, I think we have just dialed, etc., etc.
I was, and on the other line was going, boom! Actually, she had disconnected her phone. I actually did call her. but she had disconnected her phone, so I couldn't get her, which is fortunate in a way, because she would have been mightily pissed. Actually, she was kind of pissed after I eventually told her what had happened, which I didn't do right away.
This is the pity element of the story.
Well, anyway, he hung out in the car. He hung out in the car for like a couple hours. I mean, he was watching to see if I'd go back there. He didn't even take the key. You know, I think that's what he was sort of thinking that I would just come back and get it at 4 in the morning, which is what I did.
And this is testament to the polite quality of people in St. Louis.
It's like, you know, you're going to get killed if you go driving around here without knowing how, but 4 in the morning, there ain't nobody on the road, so what the hell?
Well put.
Yeah, so, but then the guy in Georgia who stopped me, you know, it was like I pulled the same routine on him and it didn't work. It's like, step out of the car, blow into the hat. He had this big trooper's hat on. I went, pick the hat up. He picked the hat up, put it back on his head.
He was looking for a high, a cheap high.
Well, it's funny, I had stopped smoking pot, but I had had like several beers, but unfortunately, I'd gone to a Jimi Hendrix movie, which cost $102 when you count the citation that I got.
It's expensive even for a guitar guy.
Yes, well, I amortized it, you know. I said, well, I paid $102 for Jimi Hendrix, and the cops got nothing! So then he handcuffed me and he put me in his squad car. And the hell of it was, I had gotten stopped for putting the high beams on, instead of putting the high beams on when I was turning off to get to the guy's house, which was only several hundred yards away, I turned the lights off. For a fleeting half second, he had been following me from Athens, Georgia, like 3 miles down the road, waiting for me to make a mistake. Waiting, just waiting. He got his chance. And the thing is, I'm in handcuffs. He's driving me like 30 miles across town to like the police station. There's like 5 good old boys we pass in vans, you know, going like 80 miles an hour, whooping it up, throwing beer bottles out of the car, shooting off guns. But you know, those are Georgia plates. You got a Pennsylvania plate, you know.
Well, that's what you get when you live in Georgia, the right to party, the way partying was meant to be partied.
Way God intended it. Well, I said to him as I was in the back seat of the squad car, gee, I sure wish I hadn't done that. And he countered with, well, you can wish in one hand and spit in the other and see which one gets filled up first.
Now that's a statement of true philosophical insight. But what I want to know is, did he expect to get high by putting his hat back on when your breath was still in there? I mean, is there some kind of thing that we don't know about where hair follicles absorb
opium
a little better than lungs? There might be something we might need to know.
It was a field breathalyzer test. He didn't have the breathalyzer with him. Well, I would have only blown maybe 0.04 tops. My system had metabolized in a pitcher and a half of beer that I had drunk at 9 p.m. and it was 1 a.m. and, you know, really.
He would have let you go if we would have gotten a good buzz off that contact high.
I think he might have. I think there are a number of scenarios in which he would have let me go. The crisp $100 bill neatly folded might have...
Bribing helps. But I believe strongly in the sympathy approach. I discovered once, and this is something I didn't tell you about, I had the sympathy approach work twice. One time, seriously, when I had actually gotten blown off by a woman, was driving home, practically in tears, got pulled over, and the cop told me, asked me, why are you speeding? I told him, I'm sorry, officer, I just got blown off by this woman. I'm so depressed I didn't know what I was doing. I just wasn't paying attention to driving. He said, now, son, okay, don't make it a big thing. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Slow down. And he was saying slow down in a way like not just slow down speeding, but slow your life down. And I think he really relished having that moment of paternal insight and being able to help out a young, struggling lover. And this worked again. A second time, I fabricated this story, which was actually true.
What did you say after he told you to slow? Did you say, yes, officer, I certainly will?
No, I kind of said,
my trunk.
Well, at that point, my blubbering increased to a level that kept him at bay. He was slowly but almost imperceptibly backing away. Just as I'm going to do now that I've shot my wad.
No, wait, what was the second story?
The second story was pretty much identical to the first, except it was purely fabricated. Once I saw that it worked in a way that was, yes, hey, well, I'll try this again, and I'll just kind of recall those emotions, fabricated, it worked.
Well, before you make your departure, tell me just a little more about St. Louis. I think it's a fascinating topic. Are they really all very jealous of Kansas City? That's the impression I got.
St. Chewy misery. Jealous of Kansas City? I don't think so. I think people in St. Louis are jealous of any sports team that can beat their sports team, or better yet, any sports team that has taken away their sports team. For example, Atlanta Hawks, San Diego Cardinals,
Whatever.
I don't know. That's the height of excitement in St. Louis sports. Sports and backyard barbecues. Nothing against them, but this is the height of excitement. And other than that, what can I say about St. Louis?
Oh, Dioxin, Times Beach.
Times Beach, Russell Bliss,
Strong German presence.
Anheuser-Busch with those all-too-hip commercials. I knew somebody from the advertising department, in-house advertising department of Anheuser-Busch, and if that person has anything to do with the ads that are on right now with the music, have you heard them? The music, they have bands playing, two-hip music. One I heard this morning was a la Indigo Girls, kind of folky pop, maybe throwing a little Velocity Girl in there, although I'm sure they've never heard of Velocity Girl, but something maybe derivative as there is such a thing, saying, we're only singing this song about Bud because we've been paid to, because they pay us to. And I thought, MTV has changed this culture of ours forever in a bad way, and we can never return. We can never return to anything sincere.
It's the post-Letterman-esque irony, which I referred to at the very beginning of the segment.
So we've come full circle.
David Letterman, MTV, and the 8-second soundbite. I can solve the Haiti problem in 8 seconds. Change the name to Lovey. You know? And then Thurston
We've gotten the first chuckle tonight.
And then Thurston Howell III will go over there and say, oh, well, Lovey.
And to say in character, Skipper, I must depart.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Francis.
All right, little
For
buddy.
allowing me to embarrass myself. Oh, thank you. You're too kind. You're too polite. You should be from St. Louis.
Well, I'm going to sing a song in honor of Tim Roberts. Going to Mexico City, here I come. They got some crazy little paint rag sniffers, and I'm going to get me one. Well, now we got some backstage, behind the scenes schmoozing going on. And who invented that word anyway?
Better than losing a lover that you never loved before.
Because you were boozing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, my name is Francis DiMenno, but I am changing my name to High Energy Drumhead, and that is how I wish to be referred to in the future. And yeah, that went over big. Well, I guess we have a couple of people who are going to perform stand-up today, or at least one person. And hi, love the earring. Hey, how'd your gig go over at Nick's, the Vault? Yeah? Cool. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. They didn't eat you alive? They liked you. They liked you. They really, really liked you. Well, that's good. Pretty soon you'll be clawing your way straight to the top. don't forget your old friends. Don't forget your new friends either. Well then, would you like to come up and come on up? I got to give your name. And you have a very hard to spell last name that I always... Wycoff. And Tony Wycoff. Okay, that's Tonywykoff, you journalists out there. Oh, C-O-F-F. See, I told you it was hard to spell. You know, I was a spelling champ in Pittsburgh. Well, not really, actually. I came in second to last, but at least I made the spelling bee. You know what I couldn't spell? Auxiliary. Now, Batman had his auxiliary utility belt, which I was fully aware of, but it just didn't register, so I lost. And then the other one was vegetable, the second year. Vegetable, because I said B-E-G-E, table. You know, and they said, nope, sorry. They knew perfectly well I knew how to spell it, but nope, sorry, you're out of here. Well, and now, Tony, T-O-N-Y, Wycoff, W-Y-C-O-F-F. Guys, let's give guys, oh guys, let's give it up for him. Tony.
How's everybody doing?
Tony! Woo!
I'm just hanging out, still there. Before I get started, talk about a lot of things. Like, on my way over here, I'm driving in my car, and I'm saying to myself, man, you're gonna get on this stage tonight, and you're gonna freeze. So then I start using rationale. Ever use rationale that doesn't work? So I'm driving, and I say to myself, hey man, they're human just like you are. They bleed just like you bleed. And I said, no, because some of us bleed more than others, especially during certain times of the month. And if it's that time of the month, they're going to be pissed. So that doesn't work. So then I'm start thinking, well, we all pass gas while we're driving in our cars. And you have to get that little lean so you can let it out. And depending on which way the window is rolled, depends on which way you lean. So if the window is rolled down, you have to lean this way so you can let it out inside your car and let it stay there so somebody else can come by and smell it. That's the thing. Everybody always wants someone else to smell their gas. My question is this. What makes you think I want to smell something of yours when I don't even want to smell my own? And I'm thinking, there's those times when you are on a date with the girl, the date, or the guy, and you're driving, and gas hits you. And that's the thing about gas. Gas is like a terrorist. It has no sense of time. So the gas comes down, and you have to tighten your behind up real tight so it won't sneak out on you. And then the gas comes down and it makes a U-turn. And that's another thing about gas. Gas is going to find a way out. So it goes back up your digestive system and it stops at your stomach and starts playing with you. And it stops there and it makes that noise. And I know you're all thinking that means you're hungry. No, that's gas. And then you have to play it off in front of your date by saying, I'm hungry. And then she looks at you and says, we just ate. So then you have to play it off. And it has me thinking, gas. Why doesn't gas smell like the food you eat? Like, why is it that when you eat good food, or food that's good for you, the gas smells worse? Like you eat baked chicken, brown rice, broccoli and cauliflower with cheese, wheat bread, and water. And you're laying there, and you're not expecting something this horrible. So you let it out, and the gas comes. And you ever had gas that was just so bad, where you just had to get up and just walk out of the room and just forget it? And then your wife or your husband walks in and wondering why you're in the other room watching Heidi on TV when the Super Bowl is on. Because there was gas. gas will do that. And it's always the food that produces the worst gas. That's like when you eat junk food, that's no bad gas. I'm thinking that may be the real reason why people can't stay on diet. Because you have to eat the right food. And eating the right food means producing the worst gas. That's very true. Why people can't lose weight? Because of the bad gas. And then I'm starting to use other rationale that doesn't work. So I'm saying, well, we all sit on the toilet. Yeah, we all sit on the toilet. No, that's a problem there also. Because we don't sit on public toilets. In public toilets, we get what is called the squat. The squat is when you back up and you bend down over the toilet. My problem with that is, how do you know you're on target? So you go down, and your behind has that radar in it. It lets you know when you're getting too close to the toilet seat. You go down, and your behind starts screaming 1 inch, 1 inch, and you start moving everywhere, and then all of a sudden it says, on target, and you stop. You stop right there. And then you go, and you drop your load. Another bad thing about doing the squat is that when you drop your load, why is it that the water always comes back and splashes you right back in your behind when you drop your load from? And I know what you all are thinking, that it's gravity that causes water to drop and come back and hit you in your behind. I'm going to tell you, it's not gravity. It's just the water's way of showing you it doesn't appreciate you dropping such a big load on top of it. To tell you the truth, that's the real reason why they invented turbo. To kind of blind the water so it doesn't know that a big load is coming. And then I'm thinking, another bad thing about the load, about doing the squat, when you're dropping your load, is that, you know, when you get that tough one that won't come out, so you have to use all stomach to get it out. But when you're doing the squats, you can't use stomach. When you get a tough one and you squat, it's just like lifting. So you're standing there and you're squatting, and you get that tough one and you sit there moaning. And then the guy in the stall next to you starts screaming, use your legs, use your legs. So you squat and you use your legs, and the load comes out, hits the water, comes right back up, splashes in your behind, and you stand straight up. But the positive thing about when you're doing the squat is that when you drop your load and the water comes back up and splashes you in your butt where you drop your load from, you get the drop and then you get the wash all in one motion. So that doesn't work. So I'm really gone now. I'm gone. Another thing I want to talk to you all about is realism in TV. I'm thinking, what could they do if they put realism in TV? Remember the Batman TV series, the old Batman show? If they had realism in Batman, Batman would get a call from Commissioner Gordon about a nuclear bomb detonating in Gotham City, and he has 15 minutes to get there. And before he takes off, he says, let's go, Dick. And then at that moment, Aunt Harriet would walk in and catch him, and she would jump on his case, like, Bruce, how dare you use such language? And Alfred's looking confused at him. Well, it is his dick. And Robin looks and says, who's dick? And Batman, Bruce Wayne, looks down at Robin and says, oh, my dick? And he says, okay, Aunt Harriet, you win. Okay, let's go, Richard. And then she sits there and she thinks about it for a second. And then she says, oh, dick. And then they would run and slide down the bat poles and get to the Batmobile. After they checked all their equipment, because Batman had every piece of equipment you can think of. Every piece of equipment Batman had. My question is, if there was realism in it, more realism in it, why does the Batmobile always start when they go out there? It always starts. And the funny thing is, they would have to call Alfred to give him a jump, and it turns out they had no jumper cables. Now that's real. That's real. And then I'm thinking about Superman. If there was realism in TV, Superman would be dyslexic. And he has to move from Metropolis to Los Angeles. And he's sitting in the post office and says, "Next, may I help you?" And he walks up and he says, "My name is Clark Kent. I used to live in Metropolis, but I moved to LA because it's easier to spell." Superman, being dyslexic. And then there's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman would be anorexic and look like Jimmy Walker from Good Times. And every time she spin around, you know, Wonder Woman used to spin around before she turned into Wonder Woman. If that was real, she would get dizzy and fall down. But the positive thing about Wonder Woman is that Wonder Woman would be the first woman in TV history to not fall down when she's being chased by a villain or a monster. And then that has me to think about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the wall climber. If that was real, Spider-Man would be afraid of heights. And he would be depressed because his wife wants a divorce. And if he doesn't grant it, she's threatening to spray him with insect repellent. And this leads me to thinking, why did people shoot at Spider-Man? He's half spider, he's half man. You don't shoot at a spider when you see it on the floor. But I bet you if they took off their shoes, he would took off running. And which leads me to thinking about the Black Falcon. The Black Falcon. The Black Falcon, the only black superhero. If it was real, the Black Falcon would have a PhD and a law degree and would refuse to help save the world until he's paid as much as Superman and Batman, who only hold down one extra job. I'm thinking. Also, something that has been something that's been thinking about for a long time is that growing up in my neighborhood was pretty strong. Because when I was a kid, my mother used to get so mad at my brother and I that she would change our names. It's like, because my brother was the type of kid who would ask you a question, even if you told him no, he'll keep asking. He'd come to my mother and he said, "Mark can have a quarter." "No." "Mark can have a quarter." "No." "Mark can have a..." And then she would just lose it. "Lord, if you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna scream." And then I would walk behind him, not knowing what just happened. So I can ask him, I go outside, I say, "Mark, could I..." "And you too, damn it." So I walk away, I walk to my brother, I say, "What did she call you?" He said, "Lord." He said, "What did he call you?" I said, "Damn it." So we started playing with each other. "Hey Lord, hey damn it, hey Lord, hey damn it." Then my mother would run it out, "Stop playing with the Lord, stop playing with the Lord." So I would stop playing with my brother. And then she would come back in and ask me, "Why aren't you playing with your brother?" I would say, "Because you told me not to." And she said, "Don't play with me, boy." So I'm start thinking, who is boy? And then she looks at me and she says, "Damn it, boy, don't play with me." So then I start thinking, well, I know my first name is Damn it, so my last name must be Boy. So which caused a lot of problems for me at school, because I was sitting there, I'm acting a clown, and I'm talking in school, in class, and the teacher would say, "Anthony, be quiet." And I'll keep talking. And then she would get mad and say, "Boy, if you don't sit down and be quiet." So then I sit down because she called me by my last name. Then there were times when my mother would get confused, just totally confused on what she named us. Like when my brother and I are fighting and he's on top of me because he was bigger than me. He has me on the floor beating me up. And my mother would walk in and say, "Lord, if you don't get off that floor." And then I would push my brother off me and say, "I'm not Lord, I'm Damn it. He's Lord." And then she would really get mad. And from that point on, everything that happened in the house, I would get blamed for. Like, my mother would hear noise in the kitchen, and it's my brother fumbling with dishes, and she would say, "Lord, what are you doing in that kitchen?" And he says, "Nothing." And then when he breaks something, she runs in and says, "Damn it, what are you doing?" And then I run out and said, "I didn't do that. The Lord did that." And then at that moment, my grandmother, who's very religious, would walk in start screaming, "The Lord didn't do that, damn it." And I'm sitting there confused, like, what kind of house is this? You can't play with anybody and you get blamed for things you didn't do. And then it really got confused when my father came back home when I was 10 years old, after he had been gone for 10 years. And my mother answered the door and she said, "Jesus, where have you been?" So when my brother looked at each other and was like, "Who is Jesus?" So then after a while, my brother realized that since he was the Lord, that we were under him, and he started teasing. He would say things like, "Hey, damn it, you and Jesus, go get me something." But unfortunately for my brother, after my father being there for a couple of weeks, he wasn't Jesus anymore. He was God, which made me Jesus. And I'm starting to think, as a kid, I would believe anything you told me as a kid. I remember thinking that when you got older, you could buy a pill that makes you fly for $1 million. So I wanted to do that. And then I'm sitting in church one day as a kid, and I'm listening to the preacher. And the preacher says to me, or he says to everybody there, he says, anything that you need, you ask Jesus, and Jesus will give it to you. So one day, I see my next door neighbor, Cheryl. I hadn't seen Cheryl in a while. I see Cheryl. Cheryl's gotten big. Well, I should say fat. So I say, "Cheryl, you know you are getting fat?" And I'm 8 years old. I don't know any better. So Cheryl looks at me and she says, "Just like your mother." So to a kid who's living in the inner city or in the ghetto, you don't say your mother. So I get so mad. I go inside and I get some margarine and I smear it all over her car. So she tells my mother, and I'm in trouble. And my mother begins to beat me. And I don't know if she's beating me because I damaged somebody's property or because I took food out of the house. Because all she did and all she said when she was beating me was that, "Don't take food out of my house." That's all she said. So I'm thinking, while she's beating me, that this is a religious woman. So I start screaming, "Jesus, help me!" And nothing happens. So I say it again, "Jesus, help me!" So Jesus comes down, stands right next to her. He looks at me, and I say to him, "Are you going to help me?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, "I don't know." So I go on. I'm 12 years old now. I'm parachuting off the house. It didn't work. Maybe because the trash bag I was using had a hole in it. Maybe that caused it to not work. But mid-flight in my parachuting, I aborted. And I try to land like Steve Austin, the $6 million man. So I land, and then I fall down. And I get up, and I see this blood all over my head. So I scream, "Jesus, help me!" So Jesus comes down, stands next to me, looks at me, and I say, "Are you going to help me?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, I don't know." So now I'm 16. I'm playing football. I get hit. I break my leg. I look at it. I say, "Jesus, help me!" So Jesus comes down, stands next to me. He looks at me. And I say, "Are you going to help me?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, "I don't know." So now I'm 18 years old. I'm sitting in church, and the preacher says, it's time to give our tithes and offering to God. So I go in my pocket and get this $1 out, because I remember that if you give, you shall receive 100 times. So I'm giving my dollar in hope that by the time I get ready to walk out this door, I have $100. So the preacher makes a mistake and says, "You need to give because Jesus needs it." So then I put my dollar back in my pocket, figuring that all the times I called for Jesus, he didn't come and help me, so I'm not going to help him. Now this time, Jesus comes down. And keep in mind, I didn't call him. And he sits next to me. And he looks at me. And then he looks up. And I start thinking, what, he's going to tell his father? His father is God. He already knows. So then he looks at me. And I look at him. And I stand there. And I just look at him. And he says to me, are you going to help me? I said, no. He said, why not? I said, I don't know. I'm Tony Wycoff. Thank you. It's been real.
Right. Tony Wycoff. And, well, this concludes this segment of Comedy on the Edge. But there will be more, so stay tuned. My name is Francis DiMenno.
Yeah, now that because I think these are all I want to go well with see tonight is so difficult. No, you don't perform up there with the lines on you? No, I'm down there with all the merchandise they're auctioning off. What they do, I work for Telemarketing Center in Kendall Square. In addition to paying us well and all that, we get play money on NBC dollars and 75 services, and they're auctioning off TVs, stereos, VCRs, CD players, furniture, gift certificates, all that tomorrow. So I'd say welcome. This as well, because I don't give that much buzz for performing, but have a few beers and you go out and eat some.
Let's throw a cement block at it. Don't try this at home. Hi, this is Comedy on the Edge. So what? Go home. We don't like you. Scram. Now. Actually, welcome back. Hey, Franny Hannigan?
What?
Who's this? Jon Eder. Well, this guy was great. We're going to bring him right up. You ready, aren't you?
Can we
You're
wait
always
a little
ready.
while for,
No, we can't. Sorry. I'll have to shtick for a couple minutes, and I'll bring you up. Okay. Great. Well, I haven't really prepared my lesson plan for today, so I don't really know what to say. Let's see. Why, it's my pay stub. This should make interesting. OASDI 310. I don't even know what this fucking means, and they take 310 out of my check every week. What is OASDI? It sounds like some mystical Oriental religion. OASDI. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what it is. What is OASDI? Well, I made a few words. You must be incredibly wise. Medicare, 73 cents. That'll buy me a lot of health care in today's market, huh? You know, Band-Aid, here's 3 cents, you know, here's your change. Let's see, federal withholding, 0. Okay, I can live with that. That's because my salary is so pitiful, and state withholding, 0. Okay, cool. That just means they'll stick me on April 15th. Yeah, even better, that's cool. You know, it's like, well, you make less than the average coffee picker in Nicaragua, but we're still going to charge you $800 for living in our state. You know, and it's like the feds, they're even worse. Well, you know, you're below the poverty line in 18 of the 19 industrialized states, but we're going to charge you $1,200. Well, anyway, I know I'm going to have this job for another 2 months because I gave a jump start to my boss. Now, that is the ultimate, like, suck-up act, you know. I need a jump start. Well, I'm going to be late for work. Never mind, I'm your boss. Give me a jump start. Oh, okay, boss. You know, bring the car around. How much did you pay for that car? $200. And that means I'll keep my job for another 2 months. It's worth $200. Christ, that's $200 right there. And his car started. The window's a little cracked on the side, or, you know how it is with those little bent windows in your car? Sometimes they come unglued, and no matter what kind of glue you put on them, you know, monkey semen, you name it, it won't hold. It won't hold no matter what. So anyway, yeah. So I get into the car and it's sloshing around. It's like Popeye's car, you know. Yo ho ho! It's hauling back and forth like that. Well, all I need is an eye patch and a parrot, you know, and then rename it to Jolly Roger, and I'll be golden, you know. It's like, it's great. It's swell. It's fantastic. Hello, that's an attractive beard. I like the way you have it groomed. Do you go to the modern barber shop? That's where I go. Yeah, isn't that kind of, is that what you'd say to Jesus if he came back? That's an attractive beard. Can I stroke it? Can I rub your head for good luck? You know, it's the golden hand. Okay, 7 come 11. Choo! I rubbed Jesus' hand with this hand, and I'm going to make a big bundle today. Yeah, that's right. If Jesus came back, what would you use him for? Gambling, right? Take him to the casino. All right, Jesus, you know, get them boxcars rolling. You know, it's like, okay, Jesus, who looks good in the 5th quintella? Well, I'd say arts and letters, and I like this one, and this one, and this one, and this is a 21 shot, but I think it's going to come in 5th. Holy shit! Jesus wins the quintella! Oh, this is unbelievable! You know, it's like great. You know, it's like got them pony. You know, love them ponies, man. Yeah, he's got a weakness for the ponies. The Lord. Of course, he made them. He knows how they're going to come in. You know, so it's like don't even bother giving the race. Jesus is here. He'll fix it. You know, he'll give them. He'll magically take the steroids away from the front runners and make them all come in also ran. Well, looks like also Franny Hannigan's here. So I'll tell you what. Here's how we'll stack it up. Are you ready, Franny?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you look like you're ready. Well, I guess what we're going to have today is a powerful, dynamic trio of performers, beginning with Franny Hannigan, moving on to Jon Eder, and culminating finally in the fantabulous Tony Wycoff. But now, here he is, direct from somewhere in Boston, Franny Hannigan!
Yes!
Good to see you. Tell me, how be you?
All right, how is everyone?
All right.
Yeah, it's great. I really got a chance to catch my breath. Well, I'm the president of the KISS fan club of New England. How many people like KISS? The old KISS. All right, thank you very much. We're a little bit different. We wear yellow and white makeup. We call ourselves PISS, which means, of course, that we're always #1. It's kind of a difficult time for me right now because my favorite aunt passed away, and she was cremated. And it really got me thinking about where cremora comes from. Big tall jar filled with powder. Okay, we don't mind a little delay. You know, I read a really disturbing fact that 50% of all the raccoons in Massachusetts are rabid. And you know what? That moved me. The idea of all these sick animals coughing and hacking in the woods. And I want to sing a song for the rabid wildlife of Massachusetts. Tiny bubbles coming out your mouth. Tiny bubbles is why we gotta take you out now. Tiny bubbles, don't get your spit on me. Tiny bubbles, you cause such misery. Now the rock and roll version for the younger folks in the crowd. Rabies, when you're with me I'm dying. Your pain cuts me through to the bone. My leg never seems to stop swelling. All these problems you made, you gave me rabies. I want a little applause for all that work. All right. Thank you very much. You know, I'm no human rights activist, but I think that the Red Lobster is a pretty cruel name for a restaurant. I mean, we don't have restaurants like the Drawn and Quartered Cow, do we? We don't have Boston Decapitated Chicken, do we? We don't say, let's go get some fish at the Stabbed Haddock. I just think that's pretty bad. That's what I think. What's that?
Lobsters are rescued even when they're healthy and happy and alive.
I've never seen one. I've only seen, well, we have someone over here disputing, but we'll get into that later. You know what else I think is cruel, or the most cruel organization in the whole country? The Make-A-Wish Foundation. Anyone know what these people are all about? The idea is you take terminally ill children and you make their dreams come true. And I don't think that's right. I mean, pretend there's a kid who wanted to get on a roller coaster. So he gets on the roller coaster, he's jumping around, he gets off, he's so excited. Oh, my dream came true, I was on a roller coaster. What's next? Sorry, kid. I mean, our dreams are what keep us alive. And guess who these kids want to see, most of all? What person do they want to meet?
Hulk Hogan.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is the #1 person these kids want to see. And how do you think Michael feels about that? As a security officer, Mr. Jackson, the kids from the Make-A-Wish Foundation are here. What'd you like? Oh, well, why don't you just send them on up? It's so perfect. I make their wish come true, they make my wish come true. And then the witnesses die. How do people think I look?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah. Last week I weighed 284 pounds. This week I'm down to 156. You know how I did it?
Liposuction.
Close. I've discovered the greatest weight loss product of the 20th century. Who knows what it is?
Denny's.
What's that?
Denny's.
Denny's. Close. Flesh-eating bacteria. Now you've heard, look at the look on his face. I mean, what do you think yogurt is? Yogurt is bacteria with a yeast infection. You eat that. Now it's perfect. You go to a hospital, you jump in the dumpster, gobble, gobble, check it out. Check it out. But I want to end with some good news that the Food and Drug Administration wants to reduce the level of pus in milk. This is a true story. I don't know about you, but I didn't know there was any pus in milk. I mean, it's sort of like hearing that Ivory soap, which is 99 and 44, 100% pure, except the 0.56 left over is donkey vomit. Well, every time I wash my face, I feel like an ass. What's wrong? And the other thing is, they don't want to eliminate the pus, they just want to reduce it. This is sort of like Preparation H announcing they're reducing the level of broken glass in their product. Now, I don't know about you, but it's destroyed my appetite for certain foods. This milk problem, like milk chocolate, that's out. I used to like to go to the movies and get a candy bar. Yeah, let's see what that's like. Pussy way bar? Nah. Puss studs? Nah. Three Musketeers. All right. I'm all set. Thank you very much. The wrong hero is coming out. Thank you very much.
You know, I wasn't planning on shaking your hand. I thought that was rather forward of you, and quite frankly, I'd appreciate it if next time you got a pedicure before you presume to become so personal with me. Hey, you know that Smokey Robinson is changing his name to Thank You for Not Smoking Robinson? Hey, wow, ding, I hit the big bell that time. That was Franny Hannigan, and all kidding aside, I really do despise. No, that was great. That was wonderful. I'm so glad you're back. It's like crawling 40 miles across the desert and seeing an oasis, and it turns out to be a real oasis, but they charge you $15 for the water. No, it was great. It was great. Wonderful. Thank you. Fantabulous. Too much coffee. Where's the Thorazine? Call for Thorazine, Johnny the Midget, the Silver Star, you know. It's like, anyway, our next guest is somebody whose inimitable sense of humor and wry social commentary makes me sick. No, actually is a perpetual delight to me. Of course, you know, I'm paid to say this, but no, actually I'm not paid. I was talking about my paycheck. You know how much I get a week in this place? This stinking lot, $46.17. Yeah! Let's go! A little later, we're going to have a big night on the town. First, we're going to go to Red Lobster, where they get those Nicaraguans to dive down without any diving equipment and take those lobsters from the bottom of the harbor. Oh, careful with that mine shaft there. Oh well, one less lobster. Anyway, his name's Jon Eder. Let's give it up for him. Jon Eder.
Nice to see you all. Things are a bit fucked now, I think. You know, things are a bit rough. There's this guy in Cambridge I saw. I felt a lot of empathy for him. He's very disoriented, very distressed. was reading the newspaper. I said, man, these are not normal times. And he was right. I said, no, you're right. They're the New York Times. And instantaneously, it made him feel a lot better to know that the newspaper was also lost. But, you know, I get pissed off. I do get pissed off. In fact, a lot of the time, I get so pissed off, I have to go next door to use my own toilet. That's how pissed off I get. But it's been a hard week. It's been a hard week. But then I have a girlfriend, so it comes naturally. Even in tight underwear. But I miss her. I miss her lots. But it's understandable. She runs track, so it's difficult to catch up with her. Nothing comes easy for me. So that's what I do, since I'm good at it. I fill negative space. Which is why I go out with depressive women. They're weird lovers. They don't know anything about health. But it's important to have something in common. But they're tender. Very tender when they kiss. But they have to be, with their teeth clenched. They want me bad. I know they do. They want me bad. They want me so badly that sometimes I can't even notice. But, you know, the problem is that they've had a difficult time. Many of them have bad childhood memories. I too have bad childhood memories, but I don't think that. I don't have to. They're on record at juvenile court. But it's all about manhood recently. It really is all about manhood. I feel my manhood deep within me. How it got there, I can only blame my yoga teacher, but I do feel manhood flowering within me, and that's not just because of the perfume talcum powder. I am a man. And on that very subject, I'm going to tell you a story. It's late, and you're in the mood for something sweet. So you walk into the store, and the counter girl eyes you, it seems, warily. But you proceed. You ease up to the counter, the most relaxed you've been all night, and you whisper, at least it seems that way, chocolate. She nods, she smiles, she seems to understand. She says, yes, I love you. I'm so glad you decided to come in here tonight. Poor Skigglies. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. I'm looking for chocolate. Thin smile tenses across her face, and she begins to unbutton her shirt. A silver medallion begins to shake and thud against her breast as her shirt lazily shakes open. And then a tattoo envelops you. It's an expressionistic spill of greens, yellows, oranges, and black in the shape of a gorilla with the word daddy on it. You don't know what to do. You don't know if you should blind the security camera or if you should pull down the blinds, but everywhere is commercial lighting and glass. You don't know what the hell the word chocolate means. You've been reading a long time, you've been isolated, and you don't know what the language on the street means. You feel fear as the crutch of vocabulary crumbles beneath you. What if you say nuts, and she goes nuts, and you hate nuts, except a few relatives? So you've got to think fast. So you try and channel some resolve, and then it all trickles out of you. And you remember you need to pick up some toilet paper as well. Supple, athletic shoulders appear. And it's difficult to tell where the biceps leave off and the breasts begin. Finally you have to take action. And so you say, give me all your money! And you realize you're waving Aristotle's book on poetics at her. Never before have you realized how truly irrelevant it is. She begins to cry. says, "You want money? That's all you want, and I thought you wanted my body." She begins to sob more heavily. Shame sings within your loins. You have to know. You scream, "What the hell do you think chocolate really means?" She sniffles. She says, "I just don't know how to say no. And we're out of that flavor." You feel reedy and hollow, sick in the pit of your soul. Then you look at her, she's buttoning back up her shirt. You take stock, and you invite her back to your place. Sunlight explodes in her face. She says, "Why not try the vanilla?" You exit into grizzly, barren nights. Aristotle parks underneath your arms. And you slurp the vanilla. And you really, really like it. Another story of life in Central Square. Francis.
For best performance by you can pick it up after the show. Jonathan Eder. People always say, yeah. Like, what is this, Baptist church? It's like, yeah! Praise the comet! It's Jonathan Eder!
Praise the comet!
Praise the comet?
Praise the comet!
Oh, the comic. I thought you said Christ the comet. It's like, whoa, hey, all right, Kahutek, Lord, you know. I love that, man. Yeah, you know, half the funny stuff is just from misunderstanding. Like, you thought you heard somebody say something, but it was actually something else. And, for example, Tony Wycoff. For some reason, I thought his name was spelled Wykoff, which would make him an extra in Schindler's List. But no, it's actually Wycoff, and that is a unique name, I think. A W, a Y, and a C. What are you, Welsh? I don't know. Well, maybe once upon a time. Who's to say in this crazy mixed up world of ours? Anyway, here he is, Mr. Tony Wycoff.
Hey, what's going on? You doing all right? Checking out this new mic. They must have got some money some kind of way. Got new equipment and everything. My name is Tony Wycoff. Thanks for the applause. Feels good. What I think I'm going to talk about today, well, what I know I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about, say, my family. Growing up in my family, my mother would get mad at my brother and I, get so mad that she would change our names. Because my brother was the type of kid that would come up to you and ask you a question and keep asking you, even if you tell him no. He would come to my mother and say, "Mark, can I have a quarter?" "No." "Mark, can I have a quarter?" "No." "Mark, can I?" And then she would just move. "Lord, if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to scream." So then I would walk behind him not knowing what just happened. About to ask my mother, could I go outside and play? I'll say, "Mark, could I go?" And she would stop me. "And you too, damn it." So then I walk to my brother and I say, "What did she call you?" He said, "Lord." He said, "What did she call you?" I said, "Damn it." Then we start playing with each other. "Hey, Lord." "Hey, damn it." "Hey, Lord." "Hey, damn it." Then my mother would run in there screaming, "Stop playing with the Lord! Stop playing with the Lord!" So I stopped playing with my brother. And then she would run in and say, "Why aren't you playing with your brother?" And I look at her You told me not to. And she said, don't play with me, boy. And I start thinking, now who is boy? This is say, damn it, boy, don't play with me. So then I start thinking, oh, my first name is damn it, my last name is boy. No, that's it. And that caused a lot of problems for me in school. Because I'm sitting in class and I'm acting a clown and walking around and I won't sit down. Teacher said, Anthony, sit down. And I keep playing. Anthony, sit down. I keep playing and joking. Boy, if you don't sit down, then I'll sit down. Because she called me by my last name. And then there were times my mother would just get confused about what our names are. Like when my brother and I are fighting, my brother has me on the floor, and he's on top of me just slapping me around because my brother was bigger than me. My brother's like 6'5", and when he was born, he was 6 feet. So he was slapping me around, and my mother would walk in and say, Lord, if you don't get off that floor, then I'll push my brother off me and say, I'm not Lord, I'm damn it. He's Lord. And then from that moment on, I would get blamed for everything that went on in that house. Like my brother would be in the kitchen trying to cook something. He's fumbling around with dishes. He starts screaming, Lord, what are you doing in that kitchen? And he says, nothing, Ma, nothing. And then when he breaks something, she runs in and she says, damn it, boy, what are you doing? And I run in and say, I didn't do that. The Lord did it. And then at that moment, my grandmother, who's very religious, would walk in the house, start screaming, the Lord didn't do that. Damn it. And I can't understand. What kind of house is this? You can't play with people and you get blamed for everything. But then it really got confusing. When my father came back home, when I was 10 years old, after he had been gone for 10 years, and my mother answered the door. And she looked at him and she said, Jesus, where have you been? So my brother and I looking at each other like, who is Jesus? And then my brother figured out that since he was the Lord, and I was damn it, and my father was Jesus, that he had seniority. So my brother would start ordering us around. Make me a sandwich, damn it, and don't ask Jesus to help you. You hear me? And this is the Lord talking to you. But unfortunately for my brother, after a couple of weeks of my father being home, he wasn't Jesus anymore. He was God, which made me Jesus. I'm Tony Wycoff. Thank you. You've been real. Have a good one.
Well, that ends this portion of the show, but there will be more, so please stay around. Please don't leave. Please don't go. Please, just sit right there. Can I get you anything? A glass of water? Mexico City car exhaust fumes? Anything?
Women!
Women? Well, I was getting to that. That goes with the Mexico City car exhaust fumes. Anyway, yes, we'll be right back with more in just a moment.
Francis DiMenno. I'm very nervous. What if nobody shows up? What am I gonna do? Well, hi. How you doing? Love the hat. Really cool. You ever see that movie, The Boy with Blue Hair? It was a prototype for Donkey, I think. The horrible comic strip. He never sticks around. He doesn't call, he doesn't write. Can't do anything with these staff members here in the Middle East. Well, last week I was here, I was working the reggae gym, and a woman who I asked to pay the $2 said, I don't like your demeanor. It's like, excuse me? They can free the slaves, master, you know, it's like, you know, beat me, whip me, what is this, you know, I don't like your demeanor. What gives people the idea that they can come in here and lord it over? Can I help you? Yeah. So, and another thing is, I went to a job lot in Providence, Rhode Island. Now, I think these are things they only have in Providence. sort of like the equivalent of a 99-cent store, except they sell all sorts of useful stuff. And I went in there asking for a laundry bag. You'd think they would have, you know, an odds and ends store like that. You'd think they'd have a laundry bag. They have salsa verde from Guadalajara. You know, they have 15-pound cans of minestrone, but they don't have laundry bags. Who makes the decision? You know, they have tarps ranging in size from 6 by 15 to a mammoth, you know, 80 by 80. You know, what's this for? A car wash elephant? What? But they don't have laundry bags. And, you know, the woman said, I said, do you have any laundry bags? And she was in the middle of talking to somebody else. Never interrupt a salesperson when they're in the middle of talking to somebody else. It's very rude. And although they will be smiling on the outside as they attempt to answer your impertinent query, on the inside they will be seething with a volcanic rage, which if you could behold it would be frightening to behold. And she said, no, we don't. And I looked around and I saw on the flyer laundry bags, but it was for children. It was a toy laundry bag. A toy laundry bag. And it cost $2. Jeez. A toy? Well, what is it? Like, is it going to break 3 days after you get it? Is that, what is a toy? Well, I looked around and I couldn't even find a child's toy play laundry bag. And I said, whoa, if that's $2, what would a real laundry bag cost? Yes, it is. And I found out, $4. $4 for a laundry bag. It's a burlap sack. Burlap costs 5 cents a pound. What? You know, this is a 5,000% markup here, and it's an outrage, I say, an outrage. But that's okay because I used my girlfriend's mother's laundry equipment, you know, I used a washer and dryer. So I made out big on that end, and I sort of amortized it. Like, you know, $4 for the laundry bag, but I didn't have to pay to wash the stuff. And I just got a little scoop of her detergent and my box out. That's the sales tax. And, well, the 99-cent store. I think I finally figured out what the 99-cent store is for. It's sort of the equivalent of Neiman Marcus for people on the bottom rung of society's ladder. It's, if things had been different somehow, they would have $9,990 and they would buy something that they really liked. But no, all they have is 99 cents. It must be something to do with the karmic wheel of retribution that the Hindus talk about. I was really shitty in a past life. Now all I have is 99 cents. But there is a store that especially caters to persons with needs like mine. Persons who only have 99 cents but who feel compelled to spend money and participate to some small degree in the American dream of consumerism. The television that I watch 18 hours a day tells me I must purchase things or else I won't be allowed to vote in the next election. It's a law. It's a law. You know, if you don't buy stuff, if you don't pay sales tax, you have no right to elect representatives, right? No taxation without representation, but no representation without taxation. It works both ways. So they go into the 99-cent store. Is there a law against selling stuff that's actually useful in a 99-cent store? There must be, because never once have I ever seen anything in one of those stores that has any utility whatsoever. It's like Thorsten Veblen would be like, oi, 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 oi. Conspicuous consumption, take it to the lowest common denominator. I don't know, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up a $1 store and gentrify the neighborhood. And actually, you know, I've had this dream. I would like to open a store like that which sold useful things. You know, I don't know what they are. I don't know what you could buy that's at all useful for $1, but surely there must be something, you know. Like maybe a little pamphlets on how not to waste your money on 99-cent stores, $1. Yeah, that'd be the cruelest irony of all. I'm just winging it here. You gotta understand, none of this is scripted. I'm making it up as I go along. Therefore, it's an excuse to suck, you know, basically. It's a, well, no, I didn't say anything. I'm sitting here with my arms folded, but I'm not saying anything. That means I like it. You know, if I hate it, I go, yeah. So, geez, I don't know. I'm just waiting for Jim to show up. That's all. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for Jim. And what will I do with Jim when he finally shows up? I will say, hi, Jim. You want some water? By the way, yes is no and no is yes. Yes, I mean no. I mean yes, I mean no. You ever have that happen to you when you were a kid? Yes is no and no is yes. Wow. Talk about a dystopia to end all dystopias, you know. A state that has decreed that black is white, white is black, 2 + 2 is 5, and yes is no and no is yes. Do you want me to hit you? Yes, I mean no, I mean yes, I mean no, I mean yes. No matter how you answer, it's always going to be the same outcome. Boom! Yeah, so, yeah. Kids, you know, I guess they pick things up from us, in a way. I mean, it's like, but when's the last time you saw an adult say captain, crunch, you know, say postage, stare, you know, adults don't do these things, kids do. They must, but they're geniuses at taking incredibly abstract notions and sort of winnowing them down into the sort of simplest possible component part. So they see the Vietnam War coverage on television, and it translates into stomping on somebody's foot the next time you see them. Does anybody here have children? How many children do you have, sir? Is it a boy? No, he's a boy. How dare you refer to your child as an inanimate object? See, it's the commodification of humanity. How old is he?
He's 14.
14? Wow. Well, I don't have a kid, but I do have a little handkerchief at home, and it smells like a petunia.
The maintenance is a little bit more.
Yeah, it's more expensive to put a kid through college than a handkerchief. So I don't know. But my handkerchief smells like a petunia. Anyway, 14, I can't even imagine. You know, I'm 37. When my dad was my age, I was 17. I can't even imagine having a 14-year-old or a 17-year-old. What kind of example would I be setting for him? It's like, I can just see what his favorite words would be. Shut up, stupid dad, shut up! You know, I mean, how do you deal with it? Is he starting to get into the adolescent phase where he's rebellious and you tell him to do something and he kicks something and you ask him why? No, he doesn't kick something, that's good. Well, I had a child psychiatrist ask me, you know, what do you do when you're mad? Oh, I kick something. Well, does that make you feel better? No, actually it hurts my foot. What do you think? Yeah, so, 14, huh? Well, what's he like?
He's a bright kid.
Oh, good. He likes the sun, I guess.
He's intelligent. You know, he has similar interests. You know, with a lot of kids. He's demographic.
Oh, what is that cohort interest in? The Reagan babies.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah, I guess Reagan to him is like what Eisenhower is to us, you know. Some old, feeble guy who sort of mumbled a lot and never really said anything, but everybody thought he was great. That kind of thing, yeah. Well, it's nice to have a president like that, as opposed to like an insincere kind of pudgy and toothy guy who sort of whines a lot and never really says anything, and everybody thinks he's lousy. So I don't know. We haven't had a good Democratic president since
FDR.
Yeah. Well, Truman was okay, but
Yeah, he's okay.
for as presidential timber, what is this phrase? Presidential timber. You know, it's like presidential timber. Like if you're presidential timber, I guess that means you're going to fall over sooner or later. Truman did the best he could, and it was not too good. No, actually, it was pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. He's looking better and better. But people thought he was a real schlub, you know. They thought Dewey was going to beat him. Dewey? Christ, talk about Dan Quayle. Dewey. I mean, you know, he was confident. He was the New York City District Attorney. He was a racket buster. And, you know, everybody knows that he probably would have been a fairly decent president. But he was lacking that one crucial element, warmth. Now, if he had shaved off that stupid mustache and started chewing tobacco, maybe he would have become president. We'd be looking at President Dewey and then President Taft, and then President Goldwater, and there would be the Democratic Party would have like given up the ghost in 1972 after Edward Kennedy, whose car didn't go off the bridge at Chappaquiddick, was defeated by a margin of 80 to 20 by President Dole. President Reagan would have never happened because the conservatives would have run things. They would have had real conservatives with a real agenda as opposed to a real conservative with no agenda except saying he's a conservative, like Reagan was. History would have been totally different if only Tom Dewey had shaved off that little mustache and, worn bib overalls and put a little hayseed in his mouth and, shit like the normal folks. But, no. So, how is it that the Democrats haven't managed to come up with a decent guy since Roosevelt? I guess maybe it's because all of the good Democrats with real ideas don't have the common touch. I mean, look at George McGovern. A perfectly decent guy, but he was a deacon or something, wasn't he? Was he some sort of minister or... No? I thought he was. Eugene McCarthy, because he wrote poetry? Come on, poetry? What is it with Democrats writing poetry anyway? Jimmy Carter writes poetry? And you never see a Republican writing poetry, and if he did, it would probably be about his dog or something. Really? The Democratic poetry, Now is the evening of our discontent. Now, the brave new horizon dawns. Republican. My dog's a good dog. Don't you say nothing bad about my dog. My dog's a good dog. Bob Dole. What is it with Bob Dole? What doesn't this guy know when to give up? What's he going to be, 77 by the time the election rolls around and he wants to run for president? 77, huh? Well, maybe he'll get Cookie Ed Burns' endorsement. The 77 connection. 77 Sunset Strip. Well, he won't have to borrow Cookie's comb because he doesn't have anything to comb, really. Doesn't he have a withered arm or something? No, Bob Dole. I mean, he's handicapped. Him and Miss America can like run on a double tick. And you don't hear much about Bob Dole's arm. I guess it's considered in bad taste to mention it, but if he were a Democrat, that would be in all of his campaign literature. Withered arm, It's like you're not prejudiced against me because I don't have the full use of both of my arms. Are you? No, not me. Never. So I'd rather have a guy with a withered arm than a guy with a withered central cerebellum, like some of those Republican candidates. Well, I won't mention. But who are the Democrats going to feel? Clinton. What if Clinton gets beaten in the primaries? Wouldn't that be funny? I mean, that hasn't happened in quite a while. I think not since Van Buren, in fact. And he was only questionably a Democrat anyway. So, anyway, I guess Jim McClellan? McKeon. Okay, close. I guess there's going to be no Jim today. So, all you boys can go out to the recess yard and throw a ball around, so to speak. No Jim today. Those were the best words I've ever heard in school, No Jim today. Good. I had this gym teacher named, he wasn't a teacher really, he was a coach, I guess. Oh, math teacher, gym coach. Why not math coach, But anyway, his name was Mr. Maddox. Can you imagine? Mr. Maddox. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can see the mental picture forming in your heads, right? Sort of like the guy on Beavis and Butthead with the sort of butch crew cut and, big scars and tattoos and shit. This is a black guy. He was bald as a cue ball, but he was just like every other gym coach that ever lived. Sort of like really right-wing. You don't get too many left-wing gym coaches. Somehow, liberals aren't attracted to the profession, screaming at sub-adolescents in their underwear for a living. So, Mr. Maddox, he used to haunt my dreams. I was really incompetent in gym. I used to get taunted for having a big head. Can you imagine that? That was my nickname when I was a child. Big head.
It's like, wow, what a thing to be ashamed of. My head's too big. My brain pan might actually be able to hold more than 3 ounces of cerebral matter. Oh, the shame. But, so Mr. Maddox would make me sit in the stinky locker room on a bench and copy out the hygiene textbook. This was like the educational portion of gym class. You were supposed to read this book on like how to eat vitamins and how to keep yourself clean and that kind of thing. When to wear a jock strap and what jock straps go best with what sports and, you know, sort of like gym etiquette. And well, he made me copy this out in longhand. And that's how I embarked upon my career as a misanthropic crank. One time I was sleeping and I was sort of in a half dream state and I woke up and there was a basketball on top of my dresser drawer and I thought it was Mr. Maddox's head. He was haunting me, even in my dreams. If I had really been into drugs, then he could have, like, you know, sort of, all right, I want 50, you know, give me 50. 50 what? Bam! Yeah, 50 of those. Yeah. Well, so does your 14-year-old son have to take gym classes?
No, they don't.
Wow. What is happening to the youth in America today? Why aren't they forced to suffer like we did? It builds character, damn it. You know, these kids today, they don't know what hard work is. When I was a boy, not that I was ever really a boy, I was a little man from the second I stepped from the womb. But when I was a boy, my father made me do 3 paper routes. 1 before school, 1 during recess, 1 after school. And, you know, he taught me to drive when I was 8 years old. I had half a driver's license. Ah, 1 chuckle, that's good. Okay, well, I got the laugh after like 9 minutes, so it's good. Now I gotta like leave, and this portion of Comedy on Edge will be back very shortly.
Rich, you gonna go?
You gonna get up there?
No, I haven't.
You don't, okay. All right, maybe next week we'll have people other than me performing.
Let me get up there.
All right, Dave.
I got one thing to say.
What's your last name?
Caller.
Caller?
Yeah.
Dave Caller?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Green Party?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
I've never done this before, and I was talking to my friend Jim about something. I just wanted to get something off my chest that I've kind of been thinking about. And we got all these liberals running around talking about gay rights, women rights, all this crap. I don't have anything against gay people. You know, as far as I'm concerned, they're just like the rest of us. And women, you know, I give them all the rights they want. But what you don't ever hear about from these people is their advantages. You never hear about the gay guy's advantage. You know what that is? Public restrooms. The gay guy is in a public restroom. It's like his own porno theater wherever he goes. Alright? There's a restroom right here, there's a urinal there. Gay guy goes in there, he looks to the left, looks to the right, he's looking right at these guys' dicks, and this is it. This is his big dream. I mean, this is like Playboy for him wherever he goes. You never hear them talk about this. The straight guy, you know, what's he gonna do? He looks at a girl at a bar, sees her, God, I'd love to fucking get in with her, see what she looks like under those clothes. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be a couple dinners, a couple dates maybe, but he's not gonna see that. Gay guy, he's a good-looking guy, likes, all soon to the bathroom, looks right over and checks them all out. I mean, I just don't think it's fair. And if a guy's at work, think about it there. I mean, the gay guys, how can you be saying they're working when they have these restrooms at work? I mean, if I'm the boss, I don't want the corner office if I'm gay. I want that cubicle right next to the bathroom. And I see that big 6'8" guy go in, you know, build like a truck. I see him go to the bathroom, I'm leaving my desk, I don't care what kind of work is going on. I'm gonna get up there and just go to the bathroom. If I'm also boss, the first thing I'm doing, I'm not worried about improving the company profits or anything. I'm worried about getting the bathroom doors off the stalls. You know, you got people in there at night just painting graffiti all over. We can't have this. People disrupting the place. Off come the doors and the shitters. And I was thinking also, in the same line, I mean, janitorial jobs. They shouldn't be the kind of bottom rung jobs it would be if they were just marketed differently. You tell these gay guys, like, hey, you know, it's not cleaning a bunch of latrines. It's like looking at guys going to the bathroom all day, undressed. The same thing. That might be a good job, but I think the best job would be to work in a men's locker room. I mean, right there, you got everything. And if you're if you're a gym owner, then you know, you got your different kind of memberships. You got your gold membership, use all the facilities. You got your silver membership, you know, come on during off-peak hours. Why not just have a gay membership? All you do is use the locker room. These guys don't need to use the gym or anything. All they want to do is come and shower with the rest of the guys. It's like Roman times in there. Everybody's walking around nude. It's like a buffet for these guys. So that's what I think. That's it.
Jim Collar. Jim Collar. All right. Sensation. Whoa. Sensation. Well, that was very, very concise. No, yeah, Jim Collar, first timer. That's what this place is all about. Getting the first timers up here, the second and the third timers, and the 10th timers, and the recidivists who've been doing this for years. And people who've always wanted to do it, people who've never thought they'd do it, people who will never do it again. That's what Comedy on the Edge is all about. Actually, it's not what it's all about, but it was a nice segue and I thought I'd say it anyway. So this ends this segment of Comedy on the Edge, but stick around, those of you in the audience who are in fact the entire audience, because there will be more momentarily. Hi, welcome to Comedy on the Edge. I'm Francis DiMenno. Our guest today is Brian Feller. Ordinarily, we would have people actually doing live performances in front of a live audience, but since it's such a beautiful day out today, I guess they call it Indian summer, and I wonder what the Indians think about this. They stole our country, but they give us 3 weeks in autumn and call it Indian summer. Wow, that really pays us back. Anyway, there's nobody here. Our featured performer didn't even show up. But we do have Brian Feller, and we're just going to get up here and chat for a while, and we hope you enjoy it. So you say you were over at Daisy Buchanan's?
Yeah, the place. I was over there for a night. It really wasn't very good, actually.
And what is it about the comedy scene today in the 90s that, I don't know, it's really fallen off. In 85, you know, it was just peaking, and then in 88 it started going,
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was starting, you know, it was around here anyway. I don't know about other places.
I'm not very up to date on the comedy scene in 1985.
But in 94, you can probably tell us a few things.
Yes, I can. I can tell you that you have to pay twice as much to get up on stage, and you have to bring 3 or 4 people.
Wait a minute, you have to pay?
You have to pay to get on stage.
How so? How do they make you pay, and how much?
Well, they make you pay $5 to $10 every time you want to go up on stage, and there's usually a 2-week waiting period, and you have to bring 3 or 4 people.
Well, you know, Catch a Rising Star a couple of years
Which went out of
ago.
business.
Yeah, right, but a couple of years, they never made you pay, but they did ask that you bring up to 7 people, which I always managed to do. Because, you can see their logic behind asking you to bring people.
Oh yeah, I can see the logic.
But making you pay, well, you know, they're such bullshit artists. They say, well, we got expenses too. We got the sound man, we got the overhead, we got to pay for the lighting.
Oh, it's bullshit. Come on, it's one microphone. All you need is one speaker, and everyone has to be quiet. So you don't need.
It's like a license to make money. I mean, you know, it's like a.
They make such a big deal out of a PA system. You know those people back when you were in high school or in college?
Techno dweebs.
The techies, yeah, and they were so concerned about getting the sound crystal clear, so perfect.
They fritter away an hour and a half.
Like you have to have good sound for a high school production of Bye Bye Birdie.
Right, exactly. Were you in a high school production of Bye Bye Birdie?
No, I was in a high school. I was King Charlemagne in a high school production of Pippin.
Wow. I hope that they didn't have the incidental music by Steely Dan.
No, I think we had the wonderful high school orchestra backing us up, which is might as well have had just some like old 94-year-old man on the kazoo doing it.
Well, there's our featured act, but that doesn't mean we're...
Time for comedy today.
So, well, have a seat anyway, Phil. We're just having
We're having an insane chat for absolutely no one but the camera.
But you know, this reaches a potential audience of anything from 50 to 50,000 people.
Oh my God! It's just for the cable.
Yeah, it's for cable. Well, it's, you know.
I love how they call it public access, but no one tunes in, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, you can commit a murder, and the perfect crime would be to do it on public access. You know?
Public access, you could have anything. I mean, I know if you get to see pairs, you could have someone like lying and being sodomized by a goat.
It's true, anything goes. But just think, in the year 2025, pointy-headed aliens from like the 15th star cluster over from this one, they're going to be watching this archival footage. Strangely grainy, and yet the integrity of the performers shines through, crystal clear. Who is the sound man?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting sick with the fact that nothing is direct, nothing is frank anymore. They don't just come out and tell you what's going on. Do you ever watch the news at all?
All the time.
Okay.
They never did tell you what was going on.
Like there shouldn't even be weather reports in Boston during the winter. The first day of winter, the weather guy should walk out there and say, "Hello, first day of winter. It's going to suck until spring. Thank you. That's all I have to do." You know, they don't even have to have the regular news. It should just be have the person come out there and say, "Hello, everything sucks. Bye."
I'll be in Mexico, fuckers. Yeah. So long.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah, nice knowing you. Ha ha.
And they gloss over the most horrible things. A 3-year-old falls out of a window in a 4-story building and impales himself on a fence.
Crushes his head.
But in sports,
Pitbull Mall's toddler. But meanwhile,
94-year-old woman raped by 2 10-year-olds. But in sports,
yeah, it's well, you know, of course it has to do with the fact that it's just bread and circus.
Homeless man sodomized by Mayor Menino. But in sports, thanks.
Homeless man.
One more time.
Right.
Yeah.
One time. Well, so you went to Daisy Buchanan's, and now it's a pay-for-play deal.
Oh, it sucks there also because no one's there to watch comedy. Everyone's there boozing up. It's just a bunch of college kids boozing it up, and no one's even looking at the stage. And the murmur of the crowd is louder than the actual microphone you're speaking into.
Well, it looks like we're entering a period in comedy similar to that in the late 40s, following World War II, when in fact
there was no comedy.
There was comedy, but it was like vestigial.
I don't understand. I mean, everyone thinks. You like Henny Youngman?
He's okay.
Yes, I don't find him funny. That's just my take
well, you know
on
what?
it.
That's the grandpa generation, and there's the dad generation.
I think he was what was hot, I guess, back then, right? He was it.
It's vaudeville, man. It's like 90 jokes in 30 minutes, you know, and you know maybe
he's doing one-liners.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but it's not as easy as you think to write one-liners.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's easy, but I just didn't find it funny.
Well, that's because it's based on gentler, perhaps even more rural-based humor, in which puns were thought to be the epitome of wit. You know, it's like, I called my daughter Alice because when my wife had her, she said, "Das ist Alice!" You know, and, yeah, I know. And they had the drum guy in the back of, hey, all right. Hey, what's up?
The drunk guy just came in. He stumbled in.
What's this? Well,
He stumbled in.
Stumble and fall.
And can you ad-lib that? Not stumble.
This is stumble. This is the stumble in.
Can you handle that?
It's the stumble
Did you hear about the invisible man that went to see the doctor?
No, I didn't. But come on up here and tell us about it.
No, don't come up here and tell me.
I won't come up there because you're not paying me enough. You know what the doctor said to him?
No, I don't know.
I can't see you now.
See, that's what we're talking about. The Henny Youngman style of like electric one-liners.
Is there some like wagon outside where you think this guy comes?
That was Henny Youngman himself. He heard.
Do you know him out of curiosity?
No. He heard the voice of wisdom and he said, some young folks, let's go in and see.
He thought this was the bathroom. I think he probably went to the bathroom over there.
Oh, that's right.
It's an interesting surprise to the person sitting in the second row, their feet are resting on a puddle of urine, but...
See what I mean? I mean, puns are funny. Like, and it's like, you know what? Newspaper comics are where comedy was about 50 years ago.
Do you want to have like an in-depth discussion about comedy here?
Yes.
I'm like really the wrong person to be talking to.
No, you're not. You have a stale old viewpoint, and it's just what we want.
Let's talk about poetry. Let's talk about iambic pentameter.
Okay.
Spokaic substitutions. Trochaic substitutions.
Methinks I needs must go down to the A and P.
Very good, very good.
You know what? I'm a poet, so
You are?
come to the right guy. Yes.
Right, yeah.
I've written an epic poem, and I'm gonna have it published and everything. and
make lots of money off it.
no, fuck no. But you know what? Stephen King's getting into modern poetry. Can you beat that? I know. Well,
I'm so sick of Stephen King.
So
Okay,
am I.
fine, you're scary. Shut up.
Yeah, not even that. Fine. You're boring. Everything you say is tedious. And
Gee, you write your books so like horribly now, just so they can be easily transformed into a movie.
right, exactly. It's sort of like pablum, pap, cream of wheat, and it's like Walmart on every page.
I mean, God, you might as well just put the blocking directions into the regular book.
Yes, we hate Stephen King. How about you?
Hey, I'd rather read Stephen King than watch Family Matters.
Well,
I don't know which is scarier, actually.
I'd rather watch Family Affair than read Stephen King.
I have.
Have you seen that? Family Affair?
No, what is it?
Oh, it's this horrible sitcom, I know, in the early 70s. Oh, you should watch it sometime. It's the epitome of awfulness. You think that something like the Brady Bunch really kind of bites, but it's kind of amusing to watch. Family Affair really, really bites, and it's barely amusing to watch. Yeah, you know what it is? They have this guy, Brian Keith. He's a fine actor. He appeared in things like, what's that Rudyard Kipling spin-off?
Okay, but he needs money. Yeah, go ahead.
He needs money, and he has this, whenever the toddlers, the cute, precocious 6, 8-year-old and the...
Which are not 6, 8-year-olds, those are still getting.
They're evil midgets, and then there's the 18-year-old pubescent gal named Sissy. All right. Yeah, her name's Sissy. And then there's the bearded butler caretaker.
Named Sissy?
No,
Oh,
his
yeah.
name was Sebastian Kevin. He had more hair than any man living. He makes Jacques Cousteau look like a sissy, you know. And then there's Uncle Bill, and he's Brian Keith, and he was in The Man Who Would Be King, and really good movies. But he hates the kids. He hates them. The second the kids show up, you can see his asshole clenching, his jaw tightening.
Wait, you can see his asshole clenching?
Practically.
Is that a close-up shot or something?
No, but it might as well. Really, you can see these little thunder clouds rumbling across his brow like, get these fucking brats out of here! I'm the star! It's me! You know, but this is all contained inside. So, you know, he's all bright and cheery when he's doing adult stuff, but then when the kids show up, he's like, yeah, well, how is that? That's good, Buffy. That's good, Jody. Come here now, let me hug you.
And Buffy OD'd at the age of 19.
Oh, that's what they say.
Did she?
And Bubble Yum's made of spider eggs. Tell us something we don't
She
know.
died.
I don't know.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, who could blame her? The disgrace of being on that show.
Gee, I'm so lost right now.
No, well, you know, watch the FX channel if you can get it.
The FX channel?
Yeah, they have it on that.
That's cool.
It's sickening.
Is it cable?
I think it is, actually.
I think very specifically shows is longer ways of time to read Stephen King. He lived through the shows the first time, and then 10, 20 years later, you watch the exact same thing you watched back then, and see you got things from it. At least back then, 20 years ago, it spoke to your intellectual level.
What, TV spoke to your intellectual level 20 years ago?
Yes, when you were.
Sorry, what was on the air 20 years ago that was so intellectual? No, 20 years ago, what was on TV that was so intellectual?
What I'm saying, he was no more
When you were
intellectual.
10.
You were 10 years old, therefore it spoke to your intellectual level.
Or you were a fetus and it spoke to your
I
intellectual
don't
level.
think TV speaks to any intellectual level, actually. Maybe Sesame Street. Maybe Sesame Street.
You're 8 to 14-year-old, and when you were 8 to 14, everything on network TV was great. Now, for those of us that mid to late 30s, you know, we've been there, we've seen it, we've done that.
We're sick of it. The Green Hornet is the most boring television show ever made.
But it was great
That was
when you
on
were 7
Fat
years
Albert,
old.
right?
No, that's the adjunct to the Batman show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the Munsters, the Addams Family, there was Batman, the Green Hornet.
Actually, yeah. I don't think any TV
Start
speaks.
Bruce Lee, though.
So what kind of poetry do you like?
Oh, I don't read poetry.
You don't read? Oh, neither do I. But
I mean, I can't sit down and read. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if Shakespeare's a classic. I don't find it interesting. I don't sit down and read it and enjoy it. I mean, I don't care.
you're not supposed to sit down and read it and enjoy it. It's hard work. It's not meant, it's a play anyway. You're meant to see
Because it's
it.
not written in modern language, I can't enjoy it. I don't know. It's something about that.
Well, if you listen to it along on a record, if you listen to a record of it and then you read it, sometimes it's easier to understand because the intonations give it away. It is a bit like mastering a foreign language. And some say it's worth the effort.
I'm willing to go the 5 yards for Shakespeare, but I'm not going to learn Latin and Greek so I can read Cicero in the original, you know what I'm saying? I mean, life's too short for that. But I think Shakespeare's worth it. Chaucer, I don't know. That's borderline. Chaucer's even more difficult than Shakespeare. And
Chaucer, that's
Beowulf in the original Old English. You know. Did you have to read that stuff in high school? Like,
yes, I did actually. I had to read twice in high school. It's horrible.
what did you read?
Beowulf, Chaucer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, what if Chaucer did they make you read? The Pardoner's Tale. You know, and it is like a foreign language.
As a matter of fact, we should go back to talking about comedy.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of comedy,
What's your name?
Bill Berliner.
Bill Berliner.
Francis, it was pure comedy. There wasn't a joke in there. He was intrinsically funny, which is the problem with today's modern comedy. People are making observations about daily life, and people have been trained for watching many people stand in front of brick walls like cable that this is what is funny. Therefore, in a Pavlovian sense, people react to it, laugh, a.k.a. Sept, a.k.a. as opposed to doing something which is in and of itself intrinsically funny, like Francis' parody of
Beowulf.
Beowulf.
And Chaucer.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Phil.
If you want my take on modern comedy, I'll give you my take on modern comedy. I think the general public's educational level has decreased to the point where some person can get up on stage and do absolutely nothing and still be funny.
That is funnier than somebody standing up doing the Andy Rooney thing about, you know what really bugs me? You lose one sock in the dryer. The weather's bad. The sports teams suck. I mean, that's what passes for comedy now.
Did it ever occur to you that there might be some perverted postman out there who's jacking off into the glue that they put on the stamps, and you could get AIDS from that?
Well, that's what comedy, I mean, comedy is observations. I mean, it's nothing other than observation. It's not some
Not
person.
necessarily.
You
Comedy
know
is like
what
10 different things.
Oh, no.
Observation's
That's
one of
not
them.
You make
Yes,
a funny,
it is.
You make a funny
Who told you this?
2-year-old child. If that child laughs, that's comedy in its purest form.
No, it's not.
It is. You
No,
make
it's
it is.
not.
It may not be stand-up comedy, but it is comedy.
Look it up in the dictionary. A comedian should be able to sing, juggle, do impressions, tell jokes, tell stories, recite monologues. They don't have to do all these things or master all of them, but they should be able to do some of these things. And telling jokes is just, entertaining is just, it's all entertainment, and telling jokes is just one part of it, as far as I know.
The common observations are not even jokes unless you develop it into a joke.
Right. Take it to its extreme. Then there's the difference between parody, satire, and observational humor. And, some refined forms of satire might go way over people's heads. Parodies always get them if they happen to be familiar with the source material. See, if you don't know what Family Affair is, then it's never going to make you laugh, no matter how hard I try. You ever listen to any records by Robert Klein?
Reading or
Yeah.
talking blog.
You did. Isn't he a boring old fart now?
He's on Sisters.
Well, oh, he is?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, so he is. You watch more television than I do.
So what do y'all do for a living?
For a living? We're just rehearsing for death at our age.
No. What do you do?
What do we do? I work at a library.
And
I call people telephone.
telemarketing?
Yeah.
Telephone engineer.
Yeah, okay. A petroleum transfer, agent. Yeah, okay.
What do you do?
What do I do? I go to school. I'm a student.
Student.
I hope you didn't think I was in my mid to late 30s because.
You're too damn cynical to be in your mid to late 30s.
Come again?
You're too cynical to be in your late to 30s.
Come again? No, I'm in college. No, I live I grew up at Boston University.
I've heard that.
Didn't the governor, the guy who ran for governor in '92, didn't he?
Yes.
Does he have a withered arm or something?
It's the child of political.
He is? Really? I mean, he's like.
Yeah, like he
If he ran as Bob Dole's running mate, they'd have a good set of arms between the two of them.
That's right. They could shovel snow in New Hampshire during the primaries.
Except it's his right arm, so he has to jack off with his left, so it's pretty hard.
Well, not only that, but he's a Democrat and Dole's a Republican.
For a Democrat,
I don't think Silver's a Democrat.
Well, he says he is.
Silver will be anything that will get him elected. That's right. He will be a fucking goat if he'll get him elected. He doesn't care.
I take it you don't admire Mr. Silver very much.
No one admires Mr. Silver.
I never
but he's
met-
untouchable.
Never met a BU student who liked John Silver.
Because he doesn't care about the students.
Why should he? Hey, here's just a stepping stone.
Hey, why should he? He's the president of the university.
He's only the president of a unit, a major. Right,
Where's it written in that job description? He has to care about students.
So, hey, come on up here, Mark. So he's buying a mansion for the visiting faculty, but the students live in Howard Johnson's.
Ah, you read that?
I read that.
Hojo. Hello, Hojo. Here.
Well, you're leaving?
Not yet.
We're not going to have our discussion about comedy?
We will.
About communism. Can we face the facts? I know we know.
So what's your name?
Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark. How you doing?
You're bored, I can see that.
Oh. 6 minutes?
It's good up here.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that, John.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, that's fine. Don't make 2 sets of keys. Make it snappy. You got 6 minutes. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. What? Oh, the keys. Well, okay. There'll be a $50 key fee. Guess what? You're gonna have to take all the keys.
This is a form of comedy, right?
Okay.
No.
No, this is not a form of comedy? Okay.
I'm not sure which one the other one is. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I can figure it out. It's one of two. You gotta check the front. Okay, this is the top, right?
So
That's
you
the
stand up a
top.
lot? You stand up a lot? You stand up a lot?
Just think of it as two buildings. One of them is the exterior door to my room.
I'd like to do a lot of photos.
So you gotta figure out which one.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
One of them is the bottom and one of them is the exterior door of my room.
I'm not making that out.
Check the bottom, check to see which one's the bottom. Okay?
I'll bring it back.
Yeah, please have it back in about 40 minutes or so.
20.
All right, yourself?
Yes, and basically I had to stop doing that because it was comedy, but it wasn't stand-up in the traditional sense as per the audience's expectations. So now I'm...
Well, this is comedy on the edge.
Now I'm planning on doing shows like art gallery and stuff like that. It's more... I'm now a performance artist.
I know I should have written.
Yeah, when does someone cross over that line from comedy to performance?
When you don't get laughs,
When you don't get laughs, but you still think you're funny. I know. I know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
What's your first name, David?
Brian.
Brian. I thought it was Brian. We have all sorts of Brians here. Brian Hughes, Brian Melvin, Brian Lewandowski, and now Brian Pilon.
Feller.
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 Feller. This is the 5th time. Feller.
All right. What do you
Okay.
want? Hey, once you get past age 30, you lose 10% of your memory. So what do you want? And it's the short-term stuff that goes first. Let me advise you.
Yes.
Not that you need my advice or want it, but anyway, comedy. So what about comedy?
I don't know. We were talking.
Daisy Buchanan.
It sucks. The
Wait,
place
what was
sucks.
the other place?
Why would somebody put on a cover night in a pickup bar?
Yes. Why would they? For no reason at all, just so they can annoy the comics. Because people
Because
get
it's
up there,
cheap.
they think people are going to watch them. No one's watching them. Everyone's turning around, boozing it up over there. What?
Comedians can't pick up women anyway.
It's true. It's very difficult. You're up there saying, "Hey, I hit him with my dick. Hi, baby. Can I buy you a drink?" Yeah, it
This
doesn't.
is the night you're performing. I mean, comedians have relationships, comedians date, but you never meet anyone when you're performing. After the show.
Unless you're famous.
Yes.
And then, you don't really meet anyone. You meet,
Read the interview with Carrot Top in the New Rolling Stone.
Oh, I met him in a hotel in Atlanta. Oh my God.
Is he an idiot?
What a fucking joke.
The thrust of the
Loser.
article is he does these college tours, just have a lot of one-night stands, and
Okay, you've seen what he looks like?
yes.
He's crawling with
Can you
AIDS.
believe he's doing any one-night stands?
Read the article.
Oh, come on. Like he's gonna tell the truth. He's
No,
not
I mean,
sleeping.
they-
He's not sleeping with anyone. Come on. The last thing he slept with was a teddy bear. He's a sickie.
Reporter observed the whole pickup process one
Oh,
night.
yeah, come on. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe anything from next time, friends.
What was that other place you went to besides Daisy Buchanan?
The Comedy Vault.
Where is that?
It's anything but, actually, it's the comedy corner of a room downstairs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it really sucks.
Where's that in the
Boylston.
entertainment? Yeah.
Remington's.
Remington's.
That's it, yeah.
It
And,
used to be a
and it was
festival.
9 o'clock, and they had some people there, and those lazy people who run it went up there and said, oh, well, it's 9 o'clock, and not enough people here, so, okay, everything's canceled. They just canceled the entire show. They didn't wait till 9:30 like they did, because the guy who was running it, he had a 5-minute set in the show like 2 weeks ago, and it was 9 o'clock, no one was there. He let it run till 9:30, so he could, to make sure he go on, right?
That's sort of what we're doing here.
And then, no, Spike's a poor man's Dennis Leary. A very poor man's Dennis
What
Leary.
telling you said that?
Yeah, Phil knows all these big hitters here. Like that guy who's in hock up to his ears because of gambling debts.
At the same time as people like Bob Carney, Rick D'Elia, we all started out at the same time.
I don't know any of those people.
They're like middling locally now.
It's a brand new generation.
I don't think Spike's not funny. I think Spike's funny. I just like every time you talk to him. Well, like every time I attempt to talk to him, it's like he's the biggest asshole to me. And I mean, and not like he has to be nice to me or be like best buddy, but he can at least be civil when I'm talking to him. You know, sitting around a table waiting for something to start and like completely like talking with everyone. Then as soon as I say that, it's like, fuck you. You know, who the hell are you? Goddamn godfather of comedy. I hate that.
One thing you should know at the vault, whoever's posting is under orders by the door. They take notes and evaluate comics. So suck up to whoever's hosting there. Back it up and get out the door. There's no there.
Yeah, well, I have yet to go on in the comedy vault because each time I go there, the show's canceled. So
Don't count on it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to believe that the only people that really get you places is yourself. You know, you can suck up to anyone, but people don't give a shit.